How you doing?
Great.
How's the offense looking?
Well, today we kind of transitioned to Alabama, so it was good to kind of get in our in-season routine. We had a really good fall camp, good competitive camp. The good news is we have a lot of guys at a lot of positions competing to be in the mix to play, and so that's a good thing. And we got 10, 11 days to try to be ready to hopefully look good.
Can you speak on the running game and the running backs? Coach Diaz mentioned yesterday still trying to decide maybe who to lead back, how they looked, and your thoughts on the running game.
Yeah, I think there's been some good parts to it. Probably for the bulk of camp, we haven't had all of them. They've just been a little nicked up, nothing major, but we've not had them all together at the same time. So that's probably made it a little harder to give you that answer right now. But most of them are back now and working hard. And, we want that guy to emerge, but that may not be until we're playing in a game. You know what I mean? We're going to go in a game knowing who's going to get that first opportunity here in about 10 days, but there'll be multiple guys play, and hopefully one guy plays his way into that role, and it's pretty obvious.
When you look at your personnel at running back and with Eric's running ability, are you looking at these guys like you definitely can increase your rushing yards marks that you guys put up last year?
Yeah, but it's all, how people play you determines your rushing and passing runs. And I think probably 10 years ago, it was a big deal. Like, hey, did you rush for 250 yards a game or over 200 yards a game? And even as a coach, you can go, man, we got to rush for this number. If a team is loading the box, a good number may be 120 yards that day, but you got to beat them by throwing the football. And that's where the balance comes in. So I think it's more of, are we efficient when we do run it? When we do run the ball, or when we need to run the ball, can we? As opposed to there's some magic number. Because each week's that's different. Based on, opponent has to decide, do we want to make it harder for you to run it or harder for you to pass it? And so that could be a week-to-week deal in terms of the number, but I would hope our efficiency is better.
I know he's been limited on just last yards per carry. Is there a mark there that you're looking for?
There's not every down and distance calls for a different number to be efficient.
I know he's been limited somewhat, Jalen Knighton and Don Chaney also. But what have you seen out of Jalen? And then if you could talk also about Don.
I think Jalen's had a really good camp and has been at time, like you said, nicked up, but he's fought through it and practiced really hard. And I think he ended spring well. I think he's had a solid fall camp for us. In terms of Don, we've just gotten him back recently, and so it's been good to see him kind of get back into the fold and kind of get back in just playing shape and just kind of in the swing of things. So it's probably a little incomplete still with him.
Also, Zion Nelson, Manny yesterday said he was being integrated back in and he expected him for Alabama. We didn't see him there.
Right. Yeah, I think according to everything I'm being told that is still the plan this week. He'll slowly integrate more into it, and all signs point to he'll be ready to go. But, with some of those things, you just take it one day at a time.
Did he practice today?
He was out there.
Was he practicing?
He was not doing everything, but he was out there.
Thanks.
Hey, Rhett, the freshman receivers have been getting glowing reviews. Are they going to be able to be worked into the offense, you think? Are they going to be in the rotation?
They're fighting hard to be in that mix, and we're continuing to push them through it. Today was, I think, their 15th practice. So when you think about it, it'd be like they just had a spring ball, and that's it. So there's still some things that they're freshmen. It's going to happen probably through halfway or the whole season. But the way they grow, the way they grasp things, the way they don't make the same mistake over and over again is encouraging. They can make plays. I think also, at the first part of camp, they're going against fellow freshmen, and as they get more opportunities, they're going against the twos and the ones and the defensive side too. So that ramps up maybe the level of competition they're going against. So that's another process they got to work through to be game ready. But we're pushing them to play, and so far they're earning the opportunity to be in that mix.
Still a couple more questions. Yesterday we spoke with Manny and Derek about the continuity. They talked about how much it's helped. Which position group offensively have you seen benefit from that continuity through 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'd like to say all of them. It just feels different, which it should in year two. Like our guys, we came out today the first time to kind of slowly start to work on an opponent instead of go against ourselves, and just the way the guys take new things out to a walkthrough and then go to practice, and they understand what we're doing. They can take a game plan and adjustments and process it and put it on the field a lot quicker. I think continuity's probably, you would like to say the O-line if you had to single someone out. But I'd like to think we're good and better everywhere.
If kind of follow up on that with the offensive line, how does that show? And it's kind of a two-part question. How does that show with the offensive line in terms of continuity? And then I'll let you answer that if I can.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of the questions are great questions. Until we play somebody, it's hard for me to know. You know, I can hope and guess, but I'm kind of like you. I mean, game ones have a life of their own. Game one every year, it's a new team. It doesn't matter how many guys you have back or how many new guys you have. It's going to be the same for our opponent. It's a brand new team. So how guys play together, adjust together, react together, you learn them. And then game one, look, they've had all offseason. There's going to be things they do we've never seen before, and you got to adjust to those things. Game one's a lot about adjustments and how well those things go about. And so really you got to get a game or two or three into the season to be able to properly answer that question. But I'd hope to think up front, to answer your question, how's the O-line continuity going to be better? I hope we can handle movement better. I hope we can handle changes in fronts better, you know, and hope we're on the same page in passing off twists and blitzes better. You know, those are the things that at times got us last year, and they're tough on anybody, but hopefully we're a step further down the road and maybe the continuity will show in that regard.
And last one was like, because of the continuity, you expect to open up the playbook compared to last year. You didn't really have the proper offseason.
I think that's always a funny question. I mean, open up the playbook. I don't think we held ourselves back last year in terms of it. It always sounds good. You know, I think sometimes people, man, I want to see them open it up. I want to see them do this. You know, you as a coach, you should be trying to put your players in a position to do what they do well against whoever you're playing against. And it doesn't matter if you run 5 plays or 50 plays. How well do you execute them and how well do you run them? It's going to be the determining factor of whether or not you're successful that game or you win or not. So I don't anticipate us being held back this year, but I don't know if we were last year either.
Hey, Rhett,
Thank you.
playing.
This is the last question.
I'm
Okay,
good.
gotcha. Playing a team like Alabama, the first game, obviously it's a great opportunity. Is it a good time to meet a team like that? I know there's a lot of difference between the first and second game, or is it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I mean, everyone's got an opinion, and you want to play them early, late, middle of the year. We're playing a phenomenal team, a phenomenal opponent. I think it's a great opportunity, and it's the next game in front of us. So playing them right now is just as good as any time. It doesn't matter if we play them game 1, game 6, or game 15. We're gonna have to play really well, and we know that.